Hello and welcome to another episode, and in fact a brand new season of our FM19 story, part of the furniture with me, Daniel. It's season 6, episode 1, and today we start a new season with fresh optimism and plenty of news, both off the pitch, in terms of transfers, and with our first game at home to Gillingham. But firstly, a massive thanks to anyone who's followed any of the first 5 seasons from either series, or to those of you who watched the review last time out. I really do appreciate it. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe for daily content from both of the long-term stories. But let's get on with plenty of action today. Let's start off the pitch on a personal level rather than Torquay. If we go to our profile, it's something that someone actually mentioned in the comments of the 5-year review. We'd not been able to get a coaching badge due to our early financial problems and then our lack of coaches at the level we were working at. We've got both of those things in place now, where our facilities were already pre-agreed and we've made a bit more money over the last season. We've used that to get in more coaching staff. We've been persuading the board to add coaches, physios and scouts, and as a result we can now finally go and study for our first National C licence. It's the first step on the chain, but it's better than nothing. That's the personal news out of the way. In terms of the club, we've got lots of stuff going on. So they're working on improving our training facilities as well as our youth facilities as well. If we go and look at what we've got at the moment, average and below average. So hopefully with over 2 million invested, they will go up. We mentioned about our 10-year plan for the club. We mentioned that again to someone in the comments at the end of the last episode. In the 5-year review, we really want to get promoted to the Premier League at the end of season 10. It's an ambitious plan, but I think I've planned it out sensibly. However, it does rely on us going up this season, so I've tried to make changes that will ensure that happens. It then gives us 3 seasons to get a new stadium and fund that by selling players and rebuilding a squad before really having a go at getting to the Premier League in that 10th year. So hopefully we can achieve that, and we've got some signings in, as you might expect, to help us try and get there. It's probably been one of our busiest summers since we've started in either series, and if we go to our transfer screen, we've got one more that we're trying to get out at the moment. And I would say actually the one slight difference this year, coming to the start of the season, there's still a few players we'd quite like to get out who are currently at the club. Normally we're a little bit short if anything going into the start of the season, but this time we've planned so well, we've been clear in what we wanted to do, and if anything we've got a slightly bigger squad than we'd like. So Robert Humphries is one of the youngsters who's been out on loan the last couple of years. We got him on a free. He went off to Tranmere and helped them to promotion from the National League last year, and we've had some relatively big bids from him. More importantly for those 3, they all include a 50% sell-on clause, so if by chance he does make it to championship level, we should make a huge amount of money off him in the future. He's a good player, he's got all the key attributes, but he's just not quite up there with the players we've got and what we're looking to do in the future. Realistically, he's not overtaking Owen Jack anytime soon, and he's going to be 3rd or 4th choice, which just doesn't work for us. The only slight issue we've had in the transfer window is due to our pre-arranged transfer of David Crawford. We were planning around a certain formation, and because of a late signing in the window, we've completely changed our view. Certainly for the home games anyway. So we'll meet those tactics in a minute and talk about them in a bit more detail, but let's look at some of the new players who will be playing in it. If we go to our history, let's firstly go and have a look at the released players so you can see who's left the club. A big long list, mostly youth players. The main ones are at the top. Ryan O'Sullivan, who played for us in the National League South and National League, a really decent pro, but wasn't quite good enough once we got to Football League level. He's gone to Scunthorpe, who I think are in League 2. They're in League 1, that's a very strange signing. He's done well to get £1.50 a week there, so good luck to him, we wish them all the best. Christian Hughes is the other free agent we signed when we got Humphries. He's not turned out to be quite as good, and he's gone on a free. Huddersfield under-23s have signed him. Again, probably just giving him a second chance to reach his potential. The only other first team player that left is Rowan Ince. Came in as a backup last year, did a good job for us, but with us not playing a holding midfielder this year, he was pretty much redundant at the club. He's gone to my beloved Luton Town, and hopefully he'll do a good job for them when he's needed to cover. It looks like they've bought him for the same reason we did last year, and fingers crossed he does just that for them, because when he did play for us, he was relatively solid. Let's go back and look at the transfers then. One of our busiest summers this time out. Probably the first time since the first season we've just gone all out and bought loads of proper players. Not a lot of loan deals, just mainly first team pros. And you'll notice as we go down the list, there's a slight difference in attitude to what we've done previously. But let's firstly look at the outs. A lot of loan players there. Some of the ones you'll recognise that we signed in January. So the last three loanees, Lovell, T and Courts, they were all signed in the middle of last season as we look to build for the future. They've all got decent personalities, so they just need a year of football. Janelle Bennett's out again. I think unfortunately he's just not going to make it. He'll probably be released after this year. And then Richard Smith and James Devine, another two that have been here for a year, and we just need to see, can they adapt to higher level professional football, and will they then be good enough for us? The only man who's gone for a fee so far is Elliot Lee, one of our backup strikers last year, former Luton player again, 150 grand to Notts County, third or fourth time before he accepted a transfer deal, but he's earning more money, he's a key player for them, and he's going to do alright. So congratulations to him, and thanks to him for helping us out in League 2. That crucial brace against Oldham, I still remember it well. But time to focus on the ins. We've run at a profit again. The only signing we paid a fee for is the one we'd already pre-arranged. A brilliant one at that, by the way. Another one from Northern Ireland and Portadown is David Crawford, a 3.5-star 18-year-old attacking midfielder. He's got 5-star potential, a professional personality. Mentally for a kid he's brilliant. Physically he's strong, and he's got the key technical attributes we need, though we'll look to develop them further. Scored nearly 1 in 2 over there, and as he comes here, he was the man we were planning to change our formation for, as he was going to go in behind Owen Jack. That might still happen on the road, but at home we've had a little bit of a change up there, which you'd probably already noticed on that transfer screen. Next along the list were two of the regens. They came through in our youth intake last year, but we didn't quite sign them on in time, so that's why they're showing up in that list. They've not really got much hope of making it, it's just in case, so we signed those two on as they were the best of the bunch. We need a homegrown player for the bench in every game, so they might be one of them in the future. Next was the most important deal for us, particularly with Jack Clark getting his 6-month injury towards the end of last season. Matt Butcher comes in from Sheffield Wednesday, did a really good job for us on loan last year, and this time out he's here on a permanent deal for a slightly reduced wage as well. 3-star ability, 3.5 potential, and at 26 he's just what we need in there. Can play equally comfortably in that holding role, should we ever need to go back to that, and as a box-to-box midfielder. Again, another one with a strong personality. We're trying to make a theme of that in the squad this year. Next along the list is probably one of the only youngsters we've signed on a permanent deal, Dinel Simiyu, I think that is. He was released by Chelsea, a 21-year-old Cameroonian international, just got his debut during the summer. He's on 1,000 a week, but with 2.5-star ability and 5-star potential. Not the best player technically, but physically wonderful, and hopefully he's going to become a really good defender in the future. He'll play understudy to the likes of Williams and Byrne at the moment, but he's certainly one I'm looking forward to trying out, especially in the cup competitions. Moving on, we've got Ellis Chapman. He's a 22-year-old midfielder with 2.5-star ability, 3.5 potential, can play equally comfortably in 2 roles, which is why we've signed him. Probably the first backup in both positions, although I think he might get a start today. He's played lots of games in the Football League at a young age, and again, he's got a decent personality, works hard and is physically solid. We couldn't ask for much more, and I think he'll do a good job for us. Next along the line, another one of the players I'm familiar with from Luton Town, the first of 2 that are there in real life at the moment and flying high at the top of League 1. Jack Stacey currently playing right back for them, but more naturally a right winger. We've signed him for 2 reasons, one to slightly improve that right hand side, and secondly just look at the physical attributes, should be fit to play 2 games a week, and again has a solid personality. He's 27 now and he's just gone down to 2.5-star from 3, but we're not paying him too much and I think he's going to be a really good addition. Next one along the line is probably the most experienced of the lot. James Collins, a man I've never seen anyone work harder than in real life watching football. He's a 32-year-old pressing forward. The main reason we got him is because he plays the same role as Owen Jack. He's got a determined personality, places shots, which is one of my favourite player traits, and he just works so hard and has the perfect set of mental attributes. He's going to be a really good addition and key for us in working towards the top of the table. So I'm delighted to have him here, even on the bench as a backup player. Next one is another experienced pro, 32-year-old Ashley Richards, former fullback from Swansea, 13 Welsh caps, £1,500 a week, slightly better than Shea Facey at right back, and again most of those increases are in the mental attributes, so he's going to be absolutely brilliant for us. 3-star ability, 3-star potential, and he's just very solid across the board. And then last but not least, the returning hero for the third time, Armando Broja, the man who's making me change formation, a fairly professional personality and 3.5 stars of ability. We've sold our sell-on for him last year, but hopefully he can provide some more magic for the club. And if we remember last time he was here, he led us to promotion from League 2 alongside Owen Jack. So we're going to play a 4-4-2 in the home games, particularly against the lower sides, and then we'll try and get Crawford as much football as possible. So as a result of those changes, we've got 2 tactics to work on. But firstly, I just want to show you the other players we're trying to get out. There are a few still. Tom Walker, the backup left midfielder. There's a few times he's had deals offered to him, but he's rejected the contracts and things like that. We will resort to loaning them out if we have to, but if we can add another 100 grand to the transfer budget and to pay towards that new stadium in the future, we'll certainly try and do it. The other one's Andrew Nelson. We mentioned he was going to go. 2-star ability, and with Collins and Broja joining, he's just not good enough. So he's another one we're looking to get out, but I don't know if that will happen. We'll probably loan out one of Greg Weir or John Richards as well, and then when Jack Clark's back in January, we'll get rid of the other one too. But we're really happy with where the squad stands, and we're not paying too much for any of them. No one's on more than £2,500 a week. You'll also notice the one other slight signing down here. We managed to keep Rowan McDonald, another player we used to have as a permanent. He's staying for another year and we'll add to our central midfield options. Another one with a professional personality, which is why we really wanted to keep him. So let's look at the 2 tactics we've set up for this year predominantly. The first one's the one we're going to use today in the home games against the mid-table and lower sides. A positive 4-4-2. You saw it all the way up to that League 2 promotion season. We've got 2 strong fullbacks now and we've got a little bit of a quicker defence and midfield. So hopefully we'll be able to compete better. Broja and Jack are the deadly duo up front and I have no doubts they'll be able to lead us to glory with a game changer in James Collins on the bench. The other one we're going to try, we've got the 4-4-2 diamond if we need it, but the second predominant formation on the road will be a bit of a familiar one to those of you who watched our Christmas series with Newcastle. It's basically the reverse of it, the attacking wingers on the right rather than the left, and it's just to make sure that we give everyone the best possible chance. In this sort of formation, the left wing back Adam Lewis, if he doesn't go, and the left midfielder Chapman that we've just bought in, will utilise that left wing role, giving McKendry a chance to have a rest and possibly even be sold. There's been some interest in him and we're not averse to letting him go, but with the stronger defence now, we can really start to work towards this. The natural roles and duties of the fullbacks, the ones they feel most comfortable in, they're the ones that suit this formation perfectly. So if we need it away from home, we'll use it, but I'll try and get by with a 4-4-2 where possible. We are training up Crawford to be able to play in this midfield 4, but I imagine that'll be a while, and I'm not quite sure why they haven't gone back to their normal positions there. So you've got a sneak preview of the lineup and tactic for today, but let's go and meet it officially and then get into our first game of the season against Gillingham. But no cheating before we start. Let me know in the comments where you think we'll finish this season. Can we make the top 2 or will it be a playoff place at best? Once you've given your opinion, we can go and look at the media's prediction for the year. I haven't looked at this yet, so I don't know what our signings have done to it. Let's see where we stand. Oh, they're expecting 4th now. There's a little bit of pressure on us to reach the top 6, so hopefully we can manage to do that. Let's go and have a look at the lineup, see if we're favourites. We are, but only slightly. I guess there's no real form to go on, so we have no idea what's going to happen. Remember when we won League 2, we did lose our first game at home to Crawley and had a bit of a panic, but we managed to recover from that, and hopefully if we do have a setback today, we'll be able to do the same then. We've got to put one of our young keepers on the bench, just so we've got that homegrown player as we've mentioned. We'll go for the usual one, Emmett the keeper. I've accidentally put him as sub 8, which is why he wasn't showing. But our 11 for today, as you've already seen most of them, is not too different to last year. How many debutants have we got in there? The right back, the 2 wingers, and Broja technically, but 3 realistically. There's only 3 players that haven't played for the club before, and then another couple on the bench. So we've got Alex Bass in goal as always, Kenlock and Richards are the fullbacks, Williams and Byrne in the middle, Stacey and Chapman are the 2 wingers, with Butcher and McDonald the central midfield, and then Broja and Owen Jack up front, the man who's become even more more of a hero to me in the last month. You can see that unhappiness information's gone. He has signed a new contract on exactly the same wage. Once the interest died down a bit during the summer, he let his unhappiness go and signed a new deal. Most importantly for us, there's no release clause to anyone in any division, and he can just remain here until we say so. So a brilliant lineup for us, and I've just got to hope that they deliver as well as I'm expecting them to. We've changed a few things in the tactic, making sure we go to a positive mentality in all formations, no matter what sort of side we're playing in this league. We're not going quite as wide this year, so instead of going extremely wide, we're just going wide. We want to focus on our strong players up front and getting the ball down to them in the middle if need be. We've taken away some of that discipline we requested, a little bit more creative freedom for them, but not too much just yet. We've taken our distribution down just so we're not going quite as long. We've got two good ball-playing fullbacks now, so we don't need to worry too much about having to skip the defence out. It's only our two centre-halves that can't play football now. We're defending narrower still, but we are going up to a standard defensive line, so hopefully that will work well. And in fact, we're going to push the narrow defensive width out as well. It's how it used to be in this formation, and now we've got a good defence. I hope we can do it. So let's get into the first game of the season. Obviously at home to Gillingham, we'd normally expect to win, but we know this league's thrown up surprises before. So let's be back in a second for the team talk and news of the first half. It looks like Gillingham are going to try and catch us on the counter. 6 players sitting deep behind the ball, including former Luton youth prospect Alex Lacey and a player we had at the club in Danny McNamara. He's actually started to develop quite well. We thought he'd never make it, but he's done really well there, so you've got to say fair play to the lad. But they're just leaving the 4 up front and hoping they can do something special. Let's see for us how that works, but I'm hoping we'll be able to get through it. We're going to assertively tell the lads that we want to leave them in no doubt as to why we're favourites, and hopefully they'll go out and put in the equivalent dominant performance. But it's Gillingham with the kick-off as they go all the way back to the defence. Ebanks Lendl, a man we briefly saw in our other series at a similar time during the challenge actually. That was with Barnsley. Mandeville scored for them already though. A minute in and they've scored a free kick from the edge of the box. This is not the start we had planned and I'm getting flashbacks to that Crawley game. Let's hope it doesn't last. We've got plenty of time to get back into it. It's Kenlock with the ball to Butcher. We're finally coming forward for the first time of the match. Broja with a good switch of play to Jack Stacey, the new man. Charges into the box and it's a greedy effort and it's cleared away easily. 10 minutes gone and we haven't looked like scoring yet. We've given the lads a kick up the backside. We've demanded more from the touchline shout, but we've given it away and we're watching yet another Gillingham attack. McDonald wins a challenge, but it's only gone as far as Lawrence. We've not gone for a narrow defensive shape this time. We said that we wanted standard width, but they're all tucked in there, and another one's deflected in. We're now 2-0 down at home, and I might have to rethink my thoughts for next year. The Crawley game was very different in League 2. We lost it 1-0, but we dominated the match, and Owen Jack just on his first game had a really poor outing. But this one we've been outplayed, and Owen Jack has thankfully given us a chance before the break. He scores his own free kick a minute before half time. We really needed a bit of inspiration, and we always knew who was going to provide it. I'm tempted to change shape at half time. We've been practicing that Newcastle S formation for the whole of pre-season until Broja joined a week ago. We are going to be behind at the break, and you're going to see some tactical changes. A fairly even game aside from possession, where we have been absolutely outclassed. I'm not having that. We're going to get aggressive already. We want to teach the new lads that are here. They've got to show more desire than that. We're going to switch to our other tactic. The lopsided 4-4-1-1. Stacey stays on, as does Chapman where he is. Butcher's had a really poor game. We're going to get Crawford on for Broja. He's been absolutely appalling. Owen Jack goes up front with Crawford running in behind. We'll give Butcher 10 more minutes before we bring on McComb. But for now, we've just got to hope we get a reaction. We've got James Collins if we need another striker late on. But for now, we think this is the tactic we've trained the most. Butcher gets the ball into Crawford. Good first touch from him out to Stacey. Falls for him again, could become an instant hero. But it's shot straight at the keeper from the edge of the box. The highlight ends, but we're back in again with a Stacey corner. Headed away, but only to the edge to Crawford. McDonald gets it, cuts in, but it's a terrible shot and it's comfortably wide. And with a couple of minutes gone in the second half, we've had a much brighter start, but still not really looked like scoring. A quarter of the game to go and he's calmed down a bit again now. Butcher's not improved, so we're going to take him off. McComb will come on. He'll go into his central midfield role on attack. We don't want to change his natural game. Stacey's had a poor outing as well, so Elliot List from last year comes on. That just gives us a bit more familiarity there, and hopefully our front three can really cause some trouble. We're going to go attacking as well. We want to get forward. We have to get at least a point on the first day, or the fans will start to turn away. And this year, after being predicted to finish fourth, we could even be in a bit of trouble, worrying about job security as well. Jack with another free kick, but from much further out, and he goes comfortably over the bar. With 10 minutes to go, I'm very worried, and we're going to demand more from the lads again. We've got a corner, it's the last couple of minutes. Kenlock's had it in, but it's headed away. It's gone to Williams, who gets it back out wide. Kenlock delivers again. Crawford with a volley. We've got an instant hero, everyone. He's done just what Owen Jack does over the last 2 years. He's turned up in the biggest moment, on the biggest opening day of the season. All the optimism's there, and David Crawford's given the fans something to sing about. We go into stoppage time level, thanks to a brilliant first time finish in the box by the new 18-year-old. Just 30 seconds left, we've got a throw in. If we could nick it now, it'd be brilliant. Crawford finds Chapman to McComb. His shot's blocked and it's going to be cleared. I think that's going to be it, unfortunately. Kenlock wins it back for Williams, but there's only 5 seconds left. He's headed away as far as Elliot List. He gets the ball out to the right. The whistle goes. It is disappointing overall, only to get a point at home to Gillingham. But from 2-0 down, it's a really good result. And I think we've seen which tactic's going to be the better this season. We should have stuck to our guns. Broja will become a sub, and we're just going to try and make things work, with David Crawford being the new hero. Let's go and talk to the lads. We're going to tell them we're pleased they came back and salvaged a draw, but it's not going to change the extra work they do this week, as we've got 2 big games coming up, both away from home. Our beloved Luton Town drew their game as well, as did Maidstone, who we've talked about in the previous seasons. They followed us up the leagues, and all 3 of us have started with the same result. So interesting that, but we're more worried about winning our games. Crawford made his debut and was absolutely brilliant. We can finally talk to Owen Jack to start praising him. I think that might be the first free kick he's ever scored. We're probably going to do the same for Crawford as well, as his goal was so crucial for us. We want to praise him for his first game. He was really good for us, and getting the goal is all you can ask of an attacking footballer. But before we go, let's go and have a look at the schedule to see when we might next be back. There's a lot of big games coming up, and would you look at that, we've got the end of the loan window at the end of the month, and then we've got Wigan in the first game of September, followed by Spurs under 23s. So we'll either show one or both of them, definitely the Wigan game, and possibly Tottenham, depending on how busy our last day of the window is. But if you did enjoy this episode, please put a thumbs up on it. Let me know what you think of our summer work and where we're going to finish in the league this season. I know the first day's been a little disappointing, but I think we've found a new hero, and it was probably just my fault for ditching the formation we trained all of pre-season. Subscribe to the channel for daily FM19 content from my 2 long-term stories, this one part of the furniture with Torquay United, as well as our Journeyman series, The Head Coach, where we just finished season 5 with Barnsley. The 5-year progress report was out yesterday for that one, so go back and check it out if you haven't already. And then tomorrow we start season 6 in that series, not knowing whether we're going to be sacked or moving on to a new club. There's also weekly content from our FIFA 19 lower league career with Crew Alexandra. But a massive thanks for watching this one as always, and we'll see you next time.